We just didn't see it fitting with what we thought was a good way to do business. It all seemed to be very cutthroat and very commission based, and it was all to do with how much money can you make, and there was no sense of a journey, particularly the customer journey.
Property, I think anywhere in the world, is kind of perceived as a not so honest profession. People think that that's people that tries to sell you something you don't really need and always overpriced, and that sort of mentality and I guess culture got even worse in Bali. So that's what we wanted to change, I guess, trying to reflect what Bali was all about. It was about culture, it was about dignity, it was about honesty, it was about paradise, giving people good experiences. So I think, to me, that's what Seven Stones is. It's a good experience, it's a good value, it's a high level of integrity and professionalism.
Welcome, hello, to the first ever Seven Stones Indonesia podcast. My name is Achintia Nilsson, and I'm going to be your host for today. For the audience, why don't the other two people we have here, co-directors of Seven Stones, introduce yourselves?
After you two.
Age before beauty, right?
Okay. Okay, my name's Andy, and I'm a British expat living in Indonesia for 30 odd years or so. Been living in Bali since 2000, and I'm a co-founder and director of Seven Stones Indonesia, along with Terry, who's about to introduce himself.
Well, you could have told them your second name, Andy.
I guess
we'll leave that for the second episode.
Yeah, you'll have to tune in for the next one to find that out.
Yeah, my name is actually Tri, but it ends up with Terry, normally in Indonesia. I'm Norwegian. I came to Indonesia a long time ago. As a kid, a few times. I moved here full time in 1993. And before I knew, I got married and got 3 kids and businesses. Moved to Bali in 2004, and in 2016 we set up Seven Stones, where I'm a director and co-founder, and that's what we're going to talk about.
Cool. So, second names in the second episode.
Yeah. You have to subscribe, right?
Yeah. We'll keep the audience, keep them guessing.
Keep them on the edge.
What's
Right.
Andy's second name?
Well, your second name too.
Oh, no.
All right. So, since it's Seven Stones podcast, why don't you guys start us off? You briefly mentioned, Terry, about what Seven Stones Indonesia is. Could we maybe go into a little bit of detail?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think now we're pretty clear on what Seven Stones is, and it's been an interesting journey. But we started off as a real estate company, but always wanted to be a different real estate company, adding good values, good understandings of the market, in particular Bali, but also other parts of Indonesia. And I guess the change of mind for us has been to expand on that, because I don't think that the traditional way of doing brokerage, property brokerage, marketing and so on is accepted anymore. There's a new sort of trend coming. People want more, they want value. So among that, we obviously provide other values. We've opened up legal departments, we've opened up now also branding, and we'll probably eventually end up becoming more or less an investment company, I think. So that's the product line, I guess, of what we're offering. But more importantly, I think the values is what makes it different, and maybe the difference if you look at Seven Stones compared to other companies.
Just to give it a little bit of further depth to that, we were both working together at a different real estate company here.
Yeah, I was just about to ask how you guys met.
Yeah. Well, actually,
we can't tell you that.
The first time we met was actually in Paradise Property, when it was in the first office in Laxmana in Jalan Oberoi, and there was a Canggu Club membership party going on 2 doors down, I think, wasn't it, where we first met?
Yeah, I think
it's probably over a glass of wine,
Yeah, alcohol was definitely involved, but I think it started off with a Japanese client that I was taking around to make a magazine, and then I got at the same time also involved with that time Tango Club, which is now Finn's recreation club, and we did have some launch parties to sell memberships, and I remember both you and other people that we've
but we were, you know, we that was in 2005 or something like that. I left that company in 2008 or 9, I think, to set up a motorbike business to do with Harley Davidson tours around Bali. So I left that and left that business in the capable hands of Terry for the next 25 years or something like that. And then we then got back together again.
That was the second glass of wine, actually.
But the reason I mention that is because we were both working for a property company. We were very ingrained in that business, and we just didn't see it fitting with what we thought was a good way to do business. It all seemed to be very cutthroat and very commission based, and it was all to do with how much money can you make, and there was no sense of a journey, particularly the customer journey. Prior to me going back to the real estate business, I was working with a variety of different hotels here and was doing training courses for the staff to do with customer journeys and doing customer journey mapping and the whole customer experience thing. And that really triggered something in me because of the results that I was seeing, but also because it touched me. And it touched the people that I was teaching, and it definitely touched the guests. And we were thinking there's got to be a way that we could actually bring some of those elements into what was traditionally seen as a very cutthroat, untrustworthy business, which was doing property and real estate here. You know, real estate agents here generally don't have a very positive reputation, and what we wanted to do was to kind of change that concept and change the mindset of people that were dealing with properties. And that's kind of where the whole idea of Seven Stones started. It was very much to do something different. In those days, I think our tagline was to do business with like-minded souls and do good, then do well. And that was something that was definitely driving us, but we didn't implement it properly. Mm-hmm. So we've kind of taken a couple of steps back and gone through this rebranding exercise, which I guess is one of the reasons that we're sitting here talking to you guys today.
Yeah.
To kind of try to explain what that exercise has led us to and what we now feel is a much stronger brand, because it's all to do with customer experiences. Mm-hmm. It's all to do with doing the right thing, and it's all to do with helping people,
creating value more than anything. And I think, just to step back a little bit, that was the thing for me too, that property, I think anywhere in the world, is kind of perceived as a not so honest, profession. People think that that's people that tries to sell you something you don't really need and always overpriced, and that sort of mentality and I guess culture got even worse in Bali. So that's what we wanted to change, I guess, trying to reflect what Bali was all about. It was about culture, it was about dignity, it was about honesty, it was about paradise, giving people good experiences. So I think, to me, that's what Seven Stones is. It's a good experience, it's a good value, it's a high level of integrity and professionalism.
And interestingly, what we've done with that concept of the Bali aspect, which is where we've chosen to live, we're really on board with the idea of balance and the Tri Hita Karana concept, which we're happy to explain.
Do you want to just give a quick explanation of what Tri Hita Karana is? Well, in my
understanding, it's 3 senses of well-being and 3 senses of prosperity. One is the relationship that humans have to humans. The other one is the relationship that humans have with nature and the natural world, and the other one is the relationship that humans have with the ethereal. Sorry, was that my iPad? Got to do this.
Yeah, I think the Tri Hita Karana is one concept, and in each of those pillars that Andy talked about, it get broken down further. So you have the Panchamanu, Panchavana, and then Panchasila, which is one of the pillars for Indonesia's founding fathers' philosophy. But I think you can also take in the Tatuam Asi concept of Bali, where everything is perceived as being one, and that's what we see. There is no well, there is I and you and us and so on, but it's all connected somehow, and everything needs to act and react in a balance. So that, I think, has influenced our thought process, and also now more clarity in the brand, very good clarity.